The silence of deep space was never truly silent. Even in the vacuum, where no sound traveled, there was a hum, felt, not heard, that came from the presence of something old, something vast. Captain Aaron Voss had never believed in ghosts, but after 7 cycles commanding the Lyra Ascendant, he had begun to believe in something worse. Echoes. The Lyra Ascendant drifted in the shadow of Andromeda's edge, engines cold, power systems throttled to minimal life support. The mission had been a routine long-range survey, a 2-year data collection trip to catalog electromagnetic anomalies near the galaxy's periphery. But 6 days ago they found something, or maybe it found them. Aaron stood alone on the bridge, watching the distorted shimmer outside the viewport. It looked like a star being devoured by its own reflection. Not a black hole, not a wormhole, those things at least obeyed physics. This didn't. It pulsed, irregular and alive, its light shifting in hues no one had words for. It wasn't a beacon. It was a lure. They'd received the distress signal from the Antares Echo, a science vessel lost over a decade ago. The coordinates led them here, to the impossible light, to the broken corpse of a ship tangled in what appeared to be strands of crystalline thread drifting in zero gravity. The Lyra Ascendant had docked. That was the last moment of normalcy. The first to board the Antares Echo were 2 engineers, Huxley and Roma. They were in suits, careful, methodical. Aaron remembered their last transmission. Static punctuated by a single word, "Listen." After that, their comms went dead. Aaron had wanted to send a recovery team, but Dr. Eileen Marek, the ship's xenobiologist, had warned against it. "There's something viral in the signal," she'd said. "Not biological, cognitive, a mimetic hazard." She had been the first to seal herself inside her lab, locking the door from the inside and disabling the override. Then came the dreams. Crew members began to speak of seeing vast geometries etched behind their eyelids, shapes that shifted every time they were remembered. One crewman, Larn, gouged out his eyes with a spoon from the mess hall. He said it was the only way to stop them from watching. By day 4, half the crew were either catatonic or violently unstable. The rest avoided the bridge, where the light of the anomaly still shone through the tinted shields. Aaron had shut off external viewports, but some claimed they could still see it, in reflections, in their food, in the backs of their minds. Dr. Marek's final message had been a half-sobbing whisper. "It's an intelligence, Aaron. Not alien. Not divine. Older. It's not here to communicate. It doesn't even see us. We're just heat to it. A flicker. A pattern to be unraveled." She had used the emergency sterilization protocol in her lab, 8,000 degrees of plasma incineration. No remains. Now Aaron sat in the captain's chair, the ship in dead drift, the rest of the crew silent. He hadn't seen another soul in over 19 hours. The clocks had begun to stutter, desensing in non-Euclidean intervals. The air felt thinner. Not oxygen, just presence. He clutched the worn leather strap of the chair's armrest and let out a breath. He thought of Earth, his sister, her little girl. He had photos in his quarters, but he hadn't gone there in days. The corridors were wrong now, longer, dimmer, with doors that didn't open the same way twice. A hiss behind him made him turn. The door to the bridge creaked open. It hadn't done that before. All doors on the Lyra Ascendant were silent, magnetic. This sound was wet, like meat separating from bone. Out stepped First Officer Calder, or what was left of him. Calder's skin had turned translucent. Veins spiderwebbed under his dermis like the roots of a dying tree. His eyes were 2 pools of black, and his mouth moved soundlessly before words finally came. Not from his lips, but from everywhere at once. "You were the last to look away," he said. "That matters." Aaron didn't reach for his weapon. He doubted it would do any good. What happened to the crew? They were rewritten, Calder replied, tilting his head like a curious dog. This place, this presence, it doesn't destroy. It edits. Aaron swallowed, the back of his throat dry and tight. And you? I read too much of the signal, Calder said, as if it were a bedtime story. I wanted to understand. Now, I remember what I never lived. I see galaxies that don't exist. I feel thoughts that aren't mine, but they fit like skin. Aaron stood, every muscle tight. I need to end this. There is no end, Calder said, stepping closer. Only continuation in other forms. The light is spreading now, back through the relay network, back toward Sol. Aaron moved to the console and tapped commands to sever all uplinks, to isolate the ship completely. Then I'll stop it here. I'll burn us if I have to. Calder smiled, and it was full of teeth that weren't human. It's too late, Captain. You saw it. You understood just enough to carry it forward. Even now, you're sharing it. The words hit like a shiver down his spine. Aaron's mind reached back to when he recorded the initial anomaly, when he sent encrypted reports back to command. There had been images, spectrum data, signal breakdowns. If what Marek said was true, he reached for the command override. Not if I shut everything down. Not if I erase the memory core. Calder lunged, but Aaron was faster. He slammed the emergency purge, and pain bloomed behind his eyes like a nova. The screens flickered, screaming in colors, and then went black. The lights dimmed to red emergency glow. The hum of the ship deepened into something like a heartbeat. Calder froze mid-step, eyes wide. Aaron staggered back, his vision doubled, his thoughts like scattered glass. He had done it. The core was gone. The data, the signal purged. The ship was blind, deaf, and dumb. But then the light returned. Not through the screens. Through Calder. His skin split at the seams, light pouring through like cracks in a dying star. Aaron stumbled backward as Calder's body rose, limbs rigid, mouth agape. A sound like whale song and thunder filled the bridge, not through speakers, but inside his own bones. And then Aaron understood. It hadn't needed the signal. He was the vector. The message had encoded itself into him. The shapes, the sounds, the dreams, they were part of a structure, and his brain had built it like a puzzle. Completion wasn't survival. It was transmission. The last thing Aaron saw before the bridge dissolved into color was the Andromeda anomaly blooming open, revealing its true form. Not a star, not a ship, but an eye. An eye that saw nothing, but reflected everything. The Lyra Ascendant never returned to known space. Search parties found only ghost echoes in the deep-range scanners, repeating patterns of light that didn't follow known frequencies. The ship was officially declared lost. Survivors, 0. But transmissions began to appear in the background noise of deep space comms. Not messages, but patterns. Signals that repeated at irregular intervals, hidden under bursts of solar data, embedded in telescope calibration files. No one noticed at first. Then a team on Mars Station 4 started dreaming of shapes. They couldn't describe them, only sketch them. Dozens of researchers all drawing the same impossible spirals. Soon after, Earth's main relay hub flickered for 3 full seconds. A blackout no one could explain. And when the feed returned, the stars looked different. Not gone, just rearranged. As if something was building a new sky,